For decades, whispers have followed the Apollo missions. Stories of hidden truths and alien secrets have clung to the edges of history, suggesting that what we were told was only part of the story. These myths often paint the astronauts as keepers of cosmic conspiracies, men who saw things beyond our understanding and were sworn to silence. But the real story of the men who walked on the moon is far more powerful than any fiction. It is a human story. This is the story of Charles "Charlie" Duke, the 10th man to set foot on the lunar surface, and how his journey was not about what he hid, but about what he shared with all of humanity. Charles Duke was the lunar module pilot for Apollo 16. In April 1972, he and Commander John Young descended to the moon's Descartes Highlands. Their mission was one of science and geology, to explore a region unlike any visited before. The world watched, holding its breath, hoping for grand discoveries. But the most profound discovery Duke made was not a strange rock or a hidden alien base. It was a deeply personal and human experience. The true magic of his time on the moon was not found in a government cover-up, but in the overwhelming feeling of being a visitor in a vast, silent, and beautiful universe. A feeling he would carry for the rest of his life. The allure of a secret moon landing is strong. It feeds our desire for the unknown, and our suspicion that we are not being told everything. Conspiracy theories suggest that Duke and his fellow astronauts saw things they could not explain, that their missions were a front for something much bigger. But these theories miss the point entirely. They look for drama in the shadows, while ignoring the incredible real-life drama playing out in the bright lunar sunlight. The story of Charles Duke is a testament to the fact that the simple, honest truth of human experience can be more awe-inspiring and meaningful than any fabricated mystery we could ever invent. Instead of focusing on what might have been hidden, we should look at what was openly given. Duke's journey was a gift to us all. Through his eyes, we saw the moon not as a place of secrets, but as a real destination. He showed us that space exploration is not just about technology and data. It is about human courage, curiosity, and connection. His story reminds us that the greatest adventures are not those shrouded in mystery, but those that reveal something fundamental about ourselves and our place in the cosmos. His time on the moon was a human story from start to finish. The journey to the moon was long and precise, a marvel of engineering and human focus. For Charles Duke, the final moments before stepping outside were filled with a mix of intense concentration and bubbling excitement. After the lunar module, Orion touched down safely in the Descartes Highlands. The real adventure was about to begin. The hatch opened to a world of pure black and brilliant grey. As Duke carefully made his way down the ladder, he was about to fulfill a dream that only a handful of people in all of history had ever realized. He was about to walk on another world, a place of profound silence and stark beauty. His first words upon setting foot on the lunar dust were filled with pure, unscripted joy. "Hot dog! This is great!" he exclaimed. It was not a grand prepared statement for the history books, but an honest burst of human emotion. At that moment, he was not just an astronaut. He was a kid in the biggest, most incredible sandbox imaginable. He looked up and saw the Earth, a stunning blue and white marble hanging in the blackness of space. It was a sight that changed him forever. He described it as a fragile, beautiful oasis, the only spot of color in the entire universe. It was a humbling perspective that made him feel both incredibly small and deeply connected to home. The lunar surface was unlike anything he could have prepared for. The dust was fine, almost like powder, and it kicked up with every step. The gravity, only 1/6 of Earth's, made him feel light and powerful. He could jump higher and move with a strange, bounding grace that was impossible back home. The landscape stretched out in every direction, a panorama of rolling hills and craters under a sky that was perpetually black, even with the sun shining brightly. There were no clouds, no wind, and no sound except for the hum of his life support system and the sound of his own breathing inside his helmet. This initial experience set the tone for his entire time on the moon. It was a journey defined by wonder. Every rock he picked up, every footprint he left, was a moment of discovery. He and John Young were the first humans to ever see this particular corner of the universe. They were explorers in the truest sense of the word, charting a new frontier. But amidst all the scientific tasks and procedures, it was these simple human feelings, the joy, the awe, the feeling of looking back at his distant home, that truly defined his first steps on the moon and made the experience so powerful. The Apollo 16 mission was the first to explore the moon's highlands, and to do so, Duke and Young had the lunar roving vehicle, their very own moon buggy. Driving the rover across the bumpy, cratered surface was an adventure in itself. They bounced and jostled along, kicking up plumes of grey dust that hung in the airless environment before settling back down. They called it the Grand Prix, a playful name for a serious task. This mobility allowed them to travel miles from their lander, becoming the first explorers to venture so far into the lunar landscape. It gave them a sense of freedom and expanded the scale of their alien world. As they explored, Duke couldn't resist the temptation of the low gravity. During one stop, he decided to see how high he could jump. He leapt into the air, feeling an incredible sense of weightlessness as he rose far higher than he ever could on Earth. But as he came down, he leaned back too far. His heavy backpack, containing his life support system, began to pull him over backward. For a terrifying moment, he thought he was going to fall. A fall on the moon could be deadly. A tear in his suit or a break in his helmet would mean instant death. He managed to twist his body at the last second, catching himself before he hit the ground, his heart pounding with adrenaline. The incident was a stark reminder of the constant danger that surrounded them. The moon was a place of breathtaking beauty, but it was also an incredibly hostile environment. There was no room for error. Every action had to be careful and deliberate. The silence of the moon was peaceful, but it was also the silence of a vacuum where life could not exist on its own. They were completely dependent on their suits and their technology. This contrast between the serene beauty of the landscape and the ever-present threat of danger made their experience all the more intense and profound. Despite the risks, the sense of wonder never faded. Duke spent over 20 hours outside the lunar module across 3 moonwalks. He and Young collected rock samples, drilled into the ground, and set up scientific experiments. They worked hard, but they also took moments to simply look around and absorb the alien majesty of it all. They were 2 human beings standing on a grey, silent world, nearly 250,000 miles from everyone and everything they had ever known. It was an experience of profound isolation and incredible privilege, a journey to the very edge of human possibility. Of all the scientific instruments and geological samples that Charles Duke handled on the moon, the most important object he brought was something small and deeply personal. Tucked away in his spacesuit was a small photograph. It was a picture of him, his wife Dorothy, and their 2 young sons, Charles and Thomas, sitting on a bench. On the back of the photo, he had written a message. "This is the family of astronaut Duke from planet Earth. Landed on the moon, April 1972. Near the end of his final moonwalk, he carefully placed the plastic-wrapped photo on the lunar surface, creating a small human landmark in the vast, empty landscape. This simple act was not part of the official mission plan. It was a personal gesture, a way for Duke to share this incredible moment with the people he loved most. He had talked with his family about doing it, and his sons were thrilled at the idea of having their picture on the moon. For Duke, it was a way to make the distant alien world feel a little closer to home. As he took a picture of the photo lying in the grey dust, he was connecting his grand adventure in space with his life back on Earth. It was a powerful symbol of the love and family ties that motivate us, no matter how far we travel. The image of that family portrait, resting on the moon's surface with a footprint nearby, has become one of the most touching and enduring legacies of the Apollo program. It reminds us that the astronauts were not just heroes or explorers, They were husbands and fathers. They had families waiting for them, worrying about them, and sharing in their dreams. Leaving the photo was a way for Duke to say that his family was with him, even on the moon. It is a moment that resonates with people everywhere because it speaks to a universal human experience, the desire to share our biggest moments with those we love. In the end, the true power of Charles Duke's moonwalk lies not in any hidden secrets, but in open, honest moments like this. The story is not about aliens, it is about humanity. It is about the courage to explore, the wonder of discovery, and the love that connects us across any distance, even the vast expanse between the Earth and the Moon. That small family photo, likely still sitting in the lunar dust today, is a more powerful monument than any grand statue. It tells a story not of conspiracy, but of connection, making the moon feel a little less distant and a little more like a part of our own human story.